Welcome to Legion Builds, where I guide you on how to bring fictional characters into Dungeons & Dragons. This video and all my content is made possible by my Patreon supporters, and it's dedicated to every one of you who subscribe to my channel. Thank you guys so much for keeping this fun. I wouldn't do any of it without you. Make sure to check out my Patreon, where you can help decide next week's new character, and we're diving into the most brutal manga and anime of all time, Berserk. It's Griffith versus Guts. Today we're bringing in the speedster of the Mortal Kombat universe, Kabal. Over the course of the series, Kabal has switched sides more time than anyone else. First he was a member of the Black Dragons, then Earth Defenders, then he took over the Black Dragons, then Earth Defenders again, and then he sided with Havoc and died. Well, in the first timeline. The second timeline is just as messy. Basically, he's a self-serving bastard who tries to be good every so often, but really isn't. At some point, Kabal was horribly scarred and mutilated by an outworld attack and is now forced to wear a breathing apparatus to survive. But he has also discovered he has gained access to immense speed. With this speed and his hooked blades, Kabal slices through his enemies before they even know what is happening. For today's build, we'll be using the Player's Handbook, Xanathar's Guide to Everything, and Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. We're using standard point array to make things easy, and we're multi-classing with 3 different stat minimums. So keep an eye on those, and this should be fun. We're going to start things off with intelligence at 15. You are a bastard, but you're not a dumb bastard. You know where your skills can be used best. Dex will fly in with 14. You're a speedster. This can't be a dump stat. Wisdom will follow with 13. It's a stat minimum, and while you do have poor impulse control and bad insight checks, you actually do make good decisions every so often. And you are aware of your surroundings, so yeah, you gotta go Wisdom. Con comes in with a 12. You survived a horrible event, are now trapped in an iron lung, and keep fighting. You are a tough bastard. Strength will be low at 10, and we're dumping Charisma. You're strong, but it's not important for this build, and very few people like you. Might be your willingness to betray, everyone. Kabal is a human. Variant human grants you a free feat and skill with your stat improvements. Place +1 into wisdom and intelligence. For your free feat, mobile increases your speed. Your base speed is now increased by 10 feet. When you use the dash action against difficult terrain, it doesn't cost extra movement. And when you make a melee attack against a creature, you do not provoke attacks of opportunity from them for the rest of the turn. For your free skill, go ahead and grab Perception. For your background, you were a criminal, so let's take the criminal background for the skills Stealth and Deception. Okay, straight into speed. Level 1 monks start off with 2 skills. Take Athletics and Acrobatics. Unarmored Defense makes your AC 10 plus Dex plus Wisdom when not wearing armor, meaning you're good at dodging things. Martial Arts improves your unarmed strikes and simple melee weapons. Now when not wearing armor, you can use your Dex for your attack and damage with your unarmed strikes and simple melee weapons. You can make an unarmed strike with a bonus action after taking the attack action, and your unarmed strikes and simple melee weapons can now use martial arts dice for damage. This starts off at a D4 but will grow over time. Level 2 monks now have unarmored movement. When not wearing armor, your speed is increased, and this will grow over time. Now your total speed is 50 feet. Ki grants you ki points equal to your monk level. You can spend these points to perform special maneuvers, and you get them back after 30 minutes of meditation. For these maneuvers, Flurry of Blows lets you make 2 unarmed strikes with the same bonus action after taking the attack action for 1 ki point. Patient Defense turns Dodge into a bonus action for 1 ki point. Step of the Wind turns Dash or Disengage into a bonus action and doubles your jump distance for 1 ki point. Level 3 monks gain their subclass, and we need your hook sword. Kensai Monk found in Xanathar's is probably one subclass I overuse, but I keep making weapon experts. Kensai weapons lets you turn any weapon into a monk weapon, which will use your martial arts dice if you choose, as long as the weapon lacks the heavy or special properties. At this level, you get 1 melee and 1 range. Choose your scimitars as they are light so you can wield them together at the same time. Agile Parry turns Kensai weapon into a defensive weapon. When wielding your Kensai weapon in one hand, and you make an unarmed strike with the opposite hand, while refraining from attacking with the weapon, you get to add +2 to your AC. Kensai Shot improves your ranged Kensai weapons with a bonus action, and adds 1d4 to the damage. Deflect Missile lets you reduce damage from a ranged melee attack with a reaction by 1d10 plus Dex plus monk level. Level 1 fighters start off with a fighting style. 2-weapon fighting lets you add your damage modifier to both your hook blades when wielding them. Second wind lets you ignore damage with a bonus action by healing yourself 1d10 plus fighter level. You can do this once per short or long rest. Level 2 fighters receive Action Surge. This is an adrenaline rush that gives you a free action once per short or long rest. Okay, we need to amp up your speed and get your poison gas attacks. Level 1 wizards begin with spell casting. You have a spell book that contains all your spells and can prepare a total number of them once per long rest that equals your wizard level plus your intelligence modifier. At this level, you get 3 cantrips and 6 spells. Arcane Recovery lets you recover spell slots once per day after you finish a short rest. The recovered spell slots can never be higher than half your wizard level. 4 spells, Poison Spray fires a blast of poison gas at a creature within 10 feet, forcing a con save and dealing 2d12 poison damage. Sword Burst lets you spin and force a dex save on every creature within 5 feet of you, dealing 2d6 force damage should they fail. Long Strider adds 10 feet to your movement for 1 hour. Gift of Alacrity adds 1d8 to your initiative rolls for 8 hours. Shield adds +5 to your AC as a reaction and stops magic missile from hitting you. And that's all I'm going to give you. You have 1 cantrip and 3 spells remaining to choose from. Have fun. Level 2 wizards gain their subclass, and it's time to go fast. Blade Singer, found in Tasha's, gives you Blade Song. Now with a bonus action, you can begin your Blade Song for 1 minute as long as you're not wearing medium or heavy armor or using a shield. While active, your AC receives a bonus equal to your intelligence modifier, your speed is increased by 10 feet again, you have advantage on acrobatics checks, and you gain a bonus to your con checks to maintain spells equal to your intelligence modifier. This ends if you don medium or heavy armor or use a two-handed weapon to make an attack. Okay, so before we go any further, I need to clarify some questions I have received in the past. 1. You gain a bonus to your AC from Blade Song when using it with Unarmored Defense. Unarmored Defense gives you an AC using your Wisdom when not wearing armor. Well, Blade Song is a bonus to your AC using your intelligence regardless of if you're wearing armor or not. They work together and do not replace one another. 2. You can wield 2 weapons with Blade Song. You can't wield a two-handed weapon, but you can wield 2 weapons. This has been stated by the High Lord of D&D himself, Jeremy Crawford. Now, you can't cast spells that have somatic components while wielding 2 weapons, but we'll fix that in a minute. You get 2 spells at this level, take what you want, and have fun. Level 4 monks earn our first ability score improvement, and we need a feat. Warcaster lets you cast spells with somatic components while wielding 2 weapons. You have advantage on con saving throws to maintain spells, and when a hostile creature provokes an attack of opportunity, you can cast a spell as a reaction instead of an attack. This spell must have a casting time of 1 action and must only target 1 creature. Slow Fall lets you reduce your falling damage as a reaction by 5 times your monk level. Quicken Healing lets you heal yourself by spending 2 key points and rolling a martial arts dice and adding your proficiency bonus. Level 5 monks receive extra attack. You can now attack twice with a single attack action. This brings your total attacks up to 3 with 2 weapons and 5 with an action surge. Stunning Strike lets you stun enemies you hit by spending 1 key point and forcing a con save. If they fail, they are stunned until the end of your next turn. Now we need to clarify something. Your spell DC is based on your intelligence, but this is based on your wisdom, which will remain lower than intelligence. Sorry. Focused Aim turns a miss into a hit by spending up to 3 key points and adding +2 for each key point to the attack roll. Your martial arts dice are now a D6. Level 6 monks now have key-empowered strikes and magical Kensai weapons. Your unarmed strikes and Kensai weapons are magical. Death Strike lets you add damage to your Kensai weapons once per turn by spending 1 key point and adding a martial arts dice to the damage. You also gain another Kensai weapon. Since you like to throw your blades and basically turn them into buzzsaws, grab hand axes for a decent substitute. Finally, your movement is now 55 feet. Level 3 fighters gain their subclass. Battlemaster, found in the player's handbook, grants you combat superiority. You now have 4 superiority dice that are d8s, and you can spend on 3 maneuvers per short or long rest. For your maneuvers, Ambush lets you add a superiority dice to your initiative or stealth check. Evasive Footwork lets you add superiority dice to your AC as long as you keep moving. Lunging Attack lets you add 5 feet to your reach by spending a superiority dice. If you hit, you add the superiority dice to the damage. Your character level 11 now. Poison Spray and Sword Burst now do 3 damage dice each. Level 3 wizards receive second level spells. For your new spell, Blur vibrates your body and makes you harder to hit. For 1 minute while you maintain this spell, all attacks against you are at disadvantage unless they have True Sight or Blind Sight. Dragon's Breath exhales a cloud of smoke from you, releasing a 15-foot cone, forcing a dex save on everyone within the cone and dealing 3d6 poison damage. You can maintain this spell for 1 minute and keep using this as a bonus action. Level 4 wizards earn another ability score improvement. Place this into dex for better attack and AC. For your new spell, take what you want. Level 5 wizards get 3rd level spells, and this is where we want to be. For your new spell, haste increases your speed for 1 minute while you maintain this spell. While active, your speed is doubled, your AC gains a +2 bonus, you have advantage on all dex checks, and you can make 1 additional weapon attack per turn. When this spell ends, you cannot move or take actions until your next turn, as you've pushed yourself too far. For your final spell, go nuts. Level 4 fighters earn another ability score improvement. Get that dex up. Level 7 monks gain evasion. Now when you succeed a dex save, you take no damage and half on a failure. Stillness of mind lets you end 1 effect on yourself with an action that is causing you to be charmed or frightened. Level 8 monks earn another ability score improvement. Cap off dex. Your character level 17 now. Poison Spray and Sword Burst now do 4 damage dice each. Level 9 monks have their unarmored movement improved. You can now run up vertical surfaces and across liquids, but should you stop, you will fall. Level 10 monks receive Purity of Body. You are now immune to disease and poison. Your total movement is 60 feet normal. Our final level is level 11 monks, and Kensai monks get Sharpen the Blade. Now as a bonus action, you can spend up to 3 key points to grant 1 Kensai weapon a bonus to attack and damage equal to the key points spent. This bonus lasts for 1 minute or until you use this feature again. This has no effect on magical weapons that already have a bonus to them. Finally, your martial arts dice are now D8s. Now that we've hit level 20, let's recap. Your stats are Strength 10, Dex 20, Con 12, Intelligence 16, Wisdom 14, Charisma 8. Your total levels are Fighter 4, Wizard 5, Monk 11. Let's dive in. First and foremost, you are fast. Your base speed is 60 feet. When you enter Blade Song, it becomes 70 feet. You can double that to 140 feet with haste, increase that to 150 with Long Strider, and then you can dash, bringing your total movement to 300. Your AC is 17, 19 with Blade Song, 21 with haste. You can also add 1d8 with evasive footwork and +5 with a reaction, and make all attacks against you at disadvantage. Your initiative is +5 plus 1d8. Oh, and you can add another d8 to that. You can also run up walls across any surface. You can dash across difficult terrain like it's normal. Dash is a bonus action to you, and at the end of it all, you can never provoke attacks of opportunity against creatures you attack. To end this section, your attacks with your hook blades are 1d8 +5. You can add d8s when you lunge at enemies. You can attack up to 5 times, and it's all magical. By the way, you don't even need the blades. You can attack all of that with your fists, and it's still magical. You can also shoot poison gas at multiple people with a decent spell DC of 19. Downside: this build is complicated, really complicated. You have 3 stat minimums. To reach your top speed, you need to have multiple abilities active, and you have resources to manage, and it takes forever to get better stats. Speaking of stats, 2 of your stat minimums are kinda low. Intelligence could be better, and wisdom could be way better. The stat minimums are just my personal gripes, as if things turn south, you can just literally run away. All this can be made easier by changing things around and just getting better stats. This is a blitz build. Rush into the fray, slice your enemies, and get out of there before a better fighter turns you into burnt toast. Thank you for joining me today. Make sure to like and subscribe to not miss a single new build each week on YouTube and Spotify. Make sure to check out my Patreon where you can help decide next week's new character. And don't forget, requests are always open.